Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Love's Messages. My name is Janet. I'm really delighted that you are here. Today, what I want to do is I want to unpack judgment a little bit. I don't think I did a very good job of really explaining what judgment is and how it is really pivotal in picking up our ability to create. So we are powerful beings that have been disconnected from that power for a long time. But we are coming into a period in human history where humans are awakening to their power to create as God creates. We are made in the image of God. We create the way God creates. We can create the way God creates. Well, actually, we do create the way God creates. It's just that what we're creating isn't necessarily what we want, but we have been creating. And so what I'm really excited to help you to understand is how to create what you do want and use the power of your free will to create a life and a world that you want. You know, a life that's beautiful, a life that's loving, peaceful, joyful, creative, fulfilling, meaningful, just fulfilling the highest potential of what you came here to extend and create in this world. So that's what I'm really dedicated to. That's what this channel is all about. It's to help you to become the powerful creator that you were created to be, and to unlock the secrets that have been hidden from humanity for eons, so that we can really step fully into our power in a way that's just unprecedented, at least in the last 26,000 years. So judgment is really important to start to become aware of. And so when I say our judgments, when I'm talking about judgments, really what I'm talking about is when you perceive something, anything that you see, anything that you perceive, what a judgment is it's really saying that this shouldn't be the way it is. It should be different than this. So, simple judgments like, it shouldn't be raining today. It shouldn't be snowing today. My power shouldn't be off. Every time you have a thought that something is not the way you want it to be, that's a judgment. And it seems very innocent, but it's not. It's actually creating something, because thoughts aren't neutral. Situations are neutral, events are neutral, but our response to it isn't neutral. It creates something. It's creative. And when we're judging something that it shouldn't be the way it is, and it seems innocent, but it truly, trust me, it is not innocent. It's innocent. Yes, it's innocent, but it's creating something, and it's creating something that you probably don't want, because you're telling the universe it's a vibration. I went into this, I think, a little bit more in the last video, but I didn't really explain very well what a judgment is, and that it is something shouldn't be the way it is. Now, where we really get into trouble with this is that other people shouldn't be the way they are. Other people shouldn't be saying what they're saying. They shouldn't be doing what they're doing. And, what we do is we project. Well, this is what all humans are doing. We're projecting onto others through the lens of our beliefs, our conditioning, our programming. We don't see others the way they really are. And we think we're seeing things accurately, but we're not. We're either seeing them through the eyes of love, or seeing them through the eyes of fear. We're seeing them through the eyes of unity, or we're seeing them through the eyes of separation. So all judgments will keep us anchored into the world of the 3D reality which is really very fear-based. And so, and it's where we're going is to learn to use the power of our free will. So that's one of the gifts that we've been given as humans, is we've been given the power of our free will. Now, we haven't been using that free will often, so an example of that is that we're always being guided. We're being guided by our higher self, our oversoul. We're being guided by, we all have, a team of angels and teachers and guides that are guiding us. We in our pre-birth planning, we wanted to experience certain things. We wanted to experience certain healings. We had a mission. We have a kind of a blueprint for our life. I mean, there's a lot of leeway within that blueprint, but we've all been given a blueprint. And what we're doing is our angels and our guides and our higher self and higher dimensional beings are all trying to steer us in a certain direction. And there's a lot of force with this, but we can use the power of our free will to not listen to it. It comes even go here instead of there. We override it. If we're very identified with our egoic programming, very identified with the world of form, very caught up in all of the trappings of the programming, then we'll often disregard those, what we can look back and say, I had a feeling I shouldn't do that. I had a feeling this person wasn't, good for me. That's a really common one in relationships, is people get into relationships and they have a lot of, inner guidance that are telling me, yeah, something's not quite right. This person really isn't good for me, but we override it because they look the right way, they've got the right amount of money, they've got all of these qualities that our ego is telling, fit into the world's perception of what we want. So we have guidance and we have free will, and we can use the power. We can use our free will to start to recognize our judgments and just take a step back. Now, I have a process that's very powerful to help us to start to unwind the judgments that we have about other people. Just don't be so sure. So, so say for instance, you have a judgment on somebody, and I'm just trying to think of a judgment a judgment. I'm sure I have had many, many judgments on people recently. And why I can't think of any, I don't know. But what I'll do is so just carrying on. So, okay, this is a good one. Okay, there's so much judgment going on in the world right now. So much judgment. I mean, we've always had a lot of judgment in our world. Somehow it seems like we're just at the pinnacle of judging each other. And all of the judging is actually keeping us from what we want. Humans all want the same thing. What do we want? We want to be loved. We want to love. We want connection. We want belonging. We want meaning in our lives. We want fulfillment. That's what humans want. And judging, the ego's way of thinking about judgment is, I have to identify what I don't want so I can get rid of it. Unfortunately, if that was true, we would all be living blissful lives with everything that we want, and that's just actually not the case. So what I want you to consider is that there's a better way. And that better way is to step back from your judgment and question it. Sometimes you don't even need to question it. Sometimes you can just say, okay, I can see that it's raining out and I really don't want it to be raining. But I know if I give that judgment attention and maybe even some fuel with my attention and my focus, I know that that's not a good way to be, so I'm going to instead just focus on the fact that, well, you could change it around. You could say, well, the rain is good for the planet. It's needed. Whatever. Just stop. Just catch yourself. Just use the power of your free will to catch yourself. But when it comes to other humans and when we're judging what they're doing wrong, it's not so easy. So this is the first thing that I want you to practice and consider practicing. So every time you have a judgment on somebody, they shouldn't be doing what they're doing. They should be doing something different. They should be being a different way. Whatever they're doing, ask yourself, have I ever in my life ever done that? Can I think back? And I want you to really be curious, not in a blaming way, not in a shaming way. Just be curious, have I ever done that? An example that I like to use is that, okay, say, people often will say, well, what about murder? I've never murdered anybody. I've never killed anybody. But I bet you have in your thoughts. I bet you in your mind, you have thought at some point, you have had a murderous thought. And we've all killed things. We've all killed bugs. So I want you to just ask yourself and consider this question. Every time you have a judgment on somebody, no matter how innocent that judgment is, no matter how benign you think it is, just consider, have I ever done that? Or even how horrendous. Have I ever done that in my entire life? Well, if you haven't done it in this life, I'm sure you've done it in previous lives. And worse. So it's a really good practice to start to question and realize, 90% of the judgments I have on other people, or even higher, when I question this in myself, if I've ever done that, if I think back truly, I can always, sometimes instantaneously, I can remember doing something exactly the same. So, yeah. So I'm going to give you I just thought of an example. A beloved teacher of mine was teaching, and I got really attached to these teachings and was very much enjoying them and looking forward to them. And then something happened, and he couldn't continue. And I was very disappointed. But there was a part of me that was just, I just so immediately go to this, well, have I ever done that? Yes, I was disappointed. I felt my disappointment. But in the moment that I thought to judge this person, I immediately turned it back to myself. And lo and behold, I remember many years ago, I started a meetup group for Course in Miracles in the area where I live. And I ran it for, I don't know, probably a year. And we were meeting weekly. And at that time, I just got burnt out. I was, holding them in my home. And so there was every week I felt like I had to clean. And every week I had to go through the song and dance. And, I just got to the point where I'm like, this isn't working for me. And I just ended it. Nothing, no, just, okay, we're done. We're done. It's over, turn everybody loose. And without, a lot of thought about, how people may have felt about that, the impact of that. And, so there, so that's like a perfect example of how, but this, would I do that now? No, I wouldn't do it now, but I did it. I did it. I did it. And we don't know what the other people, why they're doing what they're doing. And there may be very good reasons for why they're doing what they're doing. Well, there's always very good reasons. And so, yeah, so judgment, I want you to just really start to be aware of all of the judging, all of the little judgments. This shouldn't be the way it is. I shouldn't have this pain in my back. I should be able to, go farther, do more, be better. I mean, we have so many judgments on ourselves. Every time you have a judgment against yourself, I mean, that's creating something. That's really creating something. And it's really creating something you don't want. So I want to invite you to become a powerful, powerful creator, so that you can step fully into your power to create what it is you want, and to create the beautiful life you want, the beautiful relationships that you want, and the beautiful, peaceful world that we all are desperately craving right now. So I love you. I love you dearly. And I want to invite you to come back and really dive into this with me, so we can create this new earth that we're on the cusp of creating. So bye for now. Take care. Be love. I love you. Bye.